Well, good morning, everybody. Well, first of all, I wanted to welcome all of you at Balboa Nation. It's so good to get back with you. One of the things that I'd like to do is, first and foremost, thank the speakers this morning, which will be Rob Rasmussen, our Chief Risk Officer, Patrick Ontal, and Kevin Umeda. The other thing that I'd like to mention and send greetings out are our silver bullets, Nicole Mora in marketing, Todd Edson, as well as Mike Jones. They are really the guys that are moving the plow as we put together these town halls. The other thing too is that we wish all of you within Balboa Nation that number one, that you're safe, that you're well, and that your family and friends are well too. As with past town halls, what we wanted to do, our objective today, is to update you on the company, our people, as well as encourage you to be your best self. The last time, as you probably remember, at our last quarterly town hall, we were encouraging you to take the shot. Rob and I were talking and he said, hey, wait a minute, take the shots about basketball. And I kind of looked back into history, and really shots can apply to a lot of different things. The Revolutionary War started at Lexington and Concord. The shot heard around the world was Bobby Thompson when the Giants were in New York and the Dodgers were in Brooklyn 70 years ago. Today, for the fence sitters, I want to make another attempt to encourage you to step up, stand up, and take your shot. You know, it's kind of interesting in that sports hold and represent many of life's greatest lessons. We have a bunch of former athletes and weekend warriors at Balboa Nation, and we all have our favorite teams. We have a lot of Dodgers fans, we have Browns fans and Cardinal fans and Seahawk fans, Packers, Giants, and Steelers, and all the rest. It's exciting to be an LA football fan these days. The dilemma is picking which team, either the Rams or the Chargers. We all have our favorite players too. It has a way of exciting us. It makes us happy, it inspires us, it pumps us up, and it has a way of kind of motivating us. It awakens or rekindles something in many of us. While it can cause arguments, usually our love of sports or a game can bring us together with a common passion and unity. And I think all of us would agree that that's something we all desire today, which is unity, something that we have here. And we live through others. We put our heroes' posters and fatheads on our bedroom wall. We wear their jerseys. We get their bobbleheads and trading cards, and we secure and store memories deep into our consciousness. Give me a little time, as evidenced by a few moments ago, and I can relate one of life's greatest lessons to sports or a sports movie. Amen? Well, I remember going to minor league games when I was growing up in Honolulu with my grandfather. We used to call it the Termite Palace in downtown Honolulu. It made an indelible mark for me, not only because I was going with my grandfather, but today and now I take our grandchildren to the Spokane Indians games. Interestingly enough, when I used to go as a kid, the Indians were the farm team for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Some of the all-time great Dodgers played for the Spokane Indians. I'm sure many of you remember Steve Garvey and Bill Russell and Billy Buckner before the Red Sox, and Tommy Lasorda and Bobby Valentine and Davey Lopes and Tom Paciorek and Tommy Hutton and Doyle Alexander and Charlie Huff. All of those guys went through Spokane. As the Islanders fell to the Spokane Indians in 1970, the next morning, the headline read in the Honolulu Star Bulletin, say, because of Ron Say, the third baseman, say it didn't happen. We never forget, do we? Well, anyway, playing sports comes with a multitude of lessons. It teaches us about preparation and the sacrifice and friendship, competition, being part of a team, and meshing with the guys and gals, fulfilling your role. The exhilaration of winning and the brutal depression and heartache of losing, it also creates a hunger to compete and the irreplaceable feeling of coming back, overcoming, and being victorious. And then, yes, and then the desire to do it again. A lot of my contemporaries talk about retiring. And my reply is always, I play a high school sport for a living. It gives me juice. How would I replace that? I need a jug of it every day, Trenta sized. Well, anyway, and bringing this to a close. The biggest issue, I think, in terms of taking a shot or taking your shot is one of regret. Who of you in Balboa Nation are sitting back? Who are the wallflowers waiting to bloom? Who is out there on the periphery, unwilling to maybe get off the bench where it's safe and get to where you should be? Okay, I'm going to go first. I have a defeat to share with you recently. I had a pretty high profile presentation to make, and while it didn't bomb, you guys, I was kind of futzing around with the words. I was kind of messing around with my PowerPoint. I was messing around with my technology, and it just didn't flow the way that I wanted it to. You know, after I reviewed it, definitely agonized over it for a few days, replaying the presentation and materials in my head. It was painful. It felt really, really bad. It was something that I couldn't shake. I experienced the full range of emotions, mostly painful. I just kind of lost my mojo there for a little bit. But here's the thing. That loss made me hungry. That loss made me hungry to get back up again and do it better next time, to redeem myself. You know, it is, and this is the essence of it, right? It is the process, the journey that brings everything full circle. Redemption is a real thing, and so is risk. The only way I know how to do that is to take the shot and then take it again. Take your shot. You know, the last time at the last town hall, we talked about Rob's favorite sport, basketball. And I mentioned that as a basketball player, I make a very good wrestler. Last time we talked about Steph Curry, and we talked about Carmelo, and we talked about Kevin Durant, and we talked about James Harden and LeBron, and we talked about Michael, and they kept putting that shot up. About 50% of the time, though, they miss. So when the result is hanging in the balance, at the defining moment, if you haven't up until now, because of inaction, procrastination, or the fear of embarrassment and trepidation, I encourage you to take that step. You take your shot. Take your shot.